If you're a real estate agent, stick around. I'm gonna show you how to become the top 1% using video. Congratulations, you made a decision to become the top 1% in your market, the hitter, the gorilla in your market. Congratulations. Just know that top 1% is premium, right? So you're gonna get premium listings. You gotta look premium, right? So let's go over a couple things. I'm gonna show you how to leverage video to get to that top 1%. So number one information, and I'm gonna put top 1% right here because you guys know we gotta have a target, right? We gotta have a target to align. How do I get to top 1% using video? Number one, informational type of videos. Now this covers a lot of different things, right? And I'll start rattling them off here. Information, you. Who are you? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. We know that, but who are you? Why are you qualified? Can you help me? Do you know what you're doing? And can you add value as I'm in the market and as I'm searching for different properties, as I'm searching for a very specific type of property? Maybe it's my second home. Maybe it is a vacation home. Maybe it is an investment that I'm gonna rent out. Maybe it's just, I gotta dump some cash or I'm gonna pay some taxes. So whatever that is, like, who are you? And what can you do for me? In other words, the buyer, the property, the guy who's in the market for a property. So talk about yourself. What makes you qualified? What's your unique value proposition? We were just working with a real estate agent. She's doing luxury real estate. She just got her license, but she's been around real estate her whole life, doing tons of remodels, doing tons of interior design. She was a socialite. She has a very, very unique eye for property. Me and her are the same type of mind where we can go into a dingy, grimy, busted up property and be like, wow, this has really good bones. Like, I like this, because we can see we have vision, right? So like, those were her unique value propositions. Just because you're new or just because you've been kind of stagnant in growth and doing the same volume of homes does not mean that you do not have a unique value proposition. You are very special. So showcase what's special about you. Maybe you can forecast where the market's going, right? Maybe you're excellent at this. Maybe you're excellent at data, looking about the track record, the trailing 24, 36, 48 months. Maybe you're good at looking at 10, 20-year patterns beforehand and predicting stuff that's coming out now. So, you have a unique value proposition. The lady I was just talking about, she had a really good eye for remodel. Like, how do I position a property and spend in the right areas to get a really good ROI? How do I pull together materials that are not really cost effective, or maybe sometimes maybe not, or not necessarily cost, heavy, but still give us that look and that feeling of what we're after. She was very good at turning a house into a home. And this is what we leaned into with video. When we're talking about her, she was talking about herself, talking about construction, past projects. What would she do on a house? How she picks materials and couches, and how she pulls color palettes together. Like, rooms had a theme for her. She was very, very smart. Custom wallpaper, printed out on like, her daughter painted a picture and she used that as wallpaper. It was incredible, but the color palettes, the color scheme, from the art to the way she pulled everything in, it really felt, and it was good too, because it was a modern home and it still felt really cozy. She was really good at that. So we leaned into the strength. She was a remodel expert, she was a market expert, and she was also an interior design expert. So lean into your strengths. But who am I doing business with? Okay. More information about what? Market. I touched on it a little bit earlier. What's the market doing? What's housing doing? How is it forecasted? Who's coming to the area? What employers are coming out? What jobs can we expect? What businesses, what are policies in the neighborhood that's going to affect small businesses? Is there any development coming? Are they building a new stadium? Are they attracting new sports teams? Are they hosting a Super Bowl? Like, what is going on in the market? What are people responding to? Do we have migration out? Do we have migration in? What is going on? Politics. Politics play heavy in policies. How does that affect the market? What are the new tax codes? Things like that you guys should be talking about. That's another area to where you can become an expert. Again, I was talking about maybe your unique value proposition is how you can look at data, past data. What do we do during COVID? What do we do during the housing crisis? What do those markets look like? And then I can kind of forecast what's going on. Some people say we're in a real estate bubble right now. I don't know. educate them, right? That's your job. That's your know-how. Educate them. What else? The financial aspect. Right now, we're about a day or so from Feds possibly lowering the interest rate. How does that affect your client's debt? Right? How does that affect your client's borrowing power? Maybe clients that weren't qualified now all of a sudden become qualified because debt service ratio is a little bit different, right? Their borrowing power, maybe their borrowing power changed, the situation changed based on the interest rates. So what is that going to be like, right? How does that affect you? Talk about your relationships. Maybe you have loan broke. Before I bought my first house, I was, hearing a lot of no's. This is back when I was 26 years old. I heard a lot of no's. And then I hooked up with a loan consultant that had a major network. And we got a yes real quick. Okay, so what does your network look like? How can you pull deals together? Do you know about creative financing, right? Do you know about creative deals? Maybe it's at least with the option to buy. Maybe you have some sellers carry back some stuff. Are you creative that way? Maybe that's a unique value proposition. Inform them. Who are they getting when they hire you? Are they going to pay you 6%? How do you earn that 6%? If you're going to pay you 3%, are you earning that 3%? Show them that you can earn that commission. So this is another way we can do that. Again, people will do business with people when they have enough information. They'll buy a product or service, in this case, your service, if they have enough information. It's when they don't have enough information, they're not going to make a decision to do business with you. Okay? Number 2, tours. How do you tour a home? Now this is big because I see a lot of people, especially on short form video. Everybody likes to lean on short form video. Real estate, when you show off a property, especially, I'm talking especially when you have luxury properties, you need to have it very wide. We shoot very wide lenses. This is good for landscape, not Instagram, right? It's not TikTok. I'm assuming your buyers aren't on TikTok. But how do you show this property off? Now, there's a specific way to do it if you're doing short form videos and you're doing long form videos. But again, I see everybody lean on the short form videos like that's the tell-all. You got to have a strategy behind video. You got to know how to use it as a tool. In this case, short form, good for views. They don't always lead to conversions. They don't always lead to business. Great for conversions. These are monsters at conversions because you have someone's attention, right? You can get a message across and they actually pay attention to how you're doing things, right? So when you show them these cinematic wide lenses, using wide lenses, and you show them cinematic spaces, that's already eye candy itself, but that's only the 20%. Visuals are the 20%. How are you positioning yourself on the tour? Because you're basically showing them how you are going to show their house off or how you're going to sell the next person's house and how you actually view houses, and then the knowledge about you, because it shouldn't just be a tour of the house, it should be information, right? You should be talking about the crown moldings, the sconces, the parquet floors, the hardwood, the whatever the value adds, right? If it has a pool, if it has a home theater, like what are you talking about right there? Number 1, right? And there's a lot of ways you can go with tours. Number 2 on tours, get creative, right? Get creative when you use videos. Make a show make a show of it. Like the HGTV, they got tons of shows on houses, but how many times do you see the same homes? Because it works. People are just, they're drawn to, sexy things, especially with luxury real estate. They're just drawn to that eye candy and wow, look how they put the color thing, how they put the color scheme in there, and look how they're showing this off. And when we slow this thing down, and it looks very cinematic, it is beautiful. But get excited about it, right? You got creativity here. So you can take a tour, still give them, I'm gonna link this up here, because you're still giving information on the tour. This is the pool that was, put in by this and this and this, or whatever the story of the house is you're talking about. You're building value in every single room, every single feature. You're building value on those, right? So educate on the tours and then make it fun in shows. You can do a whole series on it. You can do a whole type of like MTV Cribs kind of stuff, where people are just, we're showing off our stuff, or, make a series. I don't know. I'm just saying get creative. Okay. So this comes down to the planning section. And so when you have that, you're showcasing how you actually do that. And then you're also showcasing more of you and what you know. Oh, wow, she knows about construction like that. Oh, she pays attention to the sconces like I do. Wow, she knew the value of that chandelier because I want a chandelier like that. Or it's important for me to know about that chandelier. I want to put one in. So get creative with the tours. Number 3, customer testimonials. Showcase. Don't just talk about you, have other people talk about you, right? In business, employees become the first line of marketing and advertising. If you're a personal brand, if you're a real estate agent, your customer is your first line, well, second line of advertising, right? But you need to have your customer as a form of advertising. Reviews aren't gonna cut it. Bang this as a video review. There's no emotion in written text. You need emotion, right? Because people remember things that have emotion in them, right? They remember the story a lot better. They're gonna retain that information. That's science, by the way. You can actually, search how the brain would retain something with emotion behind it. So have a video where your customers are doing the selling for you, building up your character, building up their experience, talking about how you helped them structure this deal. Maybe it was a 1031 exchange. Oh my gosh, they timed it so well. She knew her stuff and she worked so good with the other broker, and we were able to time this thing to where I rolled my money over to a bigger property and didn't pay anything in taxes. You know how happy I am? If you help somebody not pay taxes, I guarantee you they're going to leave the best customer review you've ever had. So take advantage of that. All you have to do is ask, can I get a customer review? Okay, number 4, drive-bys. Do neighborhood drive-bys. Talk about the neighborhood. What's good about it? This is where you can expand more on the market as well. Because again, you know your buyer, right? Or is your buyer, tech people? Or do your buyers have family? Or are they snowbirds? Or you know your buyer better than anybody. So when you drive by, it gives you an opportunity to touch on those things that's important to your demographic, right? If they're a family, maybe you show them all the family things they can do around the neighborhood, the great festivals that are coming around every single year, the things that they can do in that state that no one else really hosts, right? Talk about how, certain areas got developed, certain homes, the architecture of the homes per development. Certain neighborhoods are new, certain neighborhoods are mixed, certain neighborhoods are, they're just different builds. So talk about, as you're driving by, talk about some of the neighborhoods. Roll that with some B-roll. Again, establish yourself as a figure of authority within that market, right? Again, all this is about getting connection to you. I know my stuff. I can take care of you. I can get you a deal. I can sell your house. I can do what you want me to do. I can do what you need me to do. So again, use these tools to start. This is the main thing right here, giving people information, but it's connecting to you because you are the service here. Okay. Number 5, deal structure. Deal structure. How, like I talked about it beforehand, but do you know how to structure some deals? If you go to any escrow company, they have all the deals. They've done every single transaction. So you can start looking through some of these things and start seeing the creative ways, especially investors that buy single family. They are very creative. They put structures, they put deals together, very, very creative. Can you do the same? Is it legal to do a subject to deal in your area? Like I said, 1031 exchanges, lease with the option to buy. Do you know deal structure, and can you put that together for these guys to actually win? Because maybe they're not qualified with the bank, right? Maybe they're a little bit out of reach, right? And they don't have as much purchasing power. Do you know how to structure something to where they do have purchasing power, right? Maybe it's another deal. You become highly valuable if you can pull something like this off, right? Because then you can start attracting a different kind of buyer, or stretching the buyer's dollar where it's not affecting them and it's not going to, put them in the poorhouse. But you can structure something that financially makes sense. Okay, so again, as you're trying to get to the top percent, you're doing volume on the way. Once you start hitting the top percent, you can start selling a lot more luxury products. But again, on the way, it's helpful to know these type of things so you can actually get more deals done. And video will help you sell that. Most people won't know about, lease option or a lease with the option to buy. Most people don't know how to structure that. Most people don't know how to structure a subject to. Most people don't know how to assume properties or any kind of deal or 1031 exchange. I was talking to a real estate agent that didn't know how to pull off a 1031 exchange. I said, wow, I thought that was very, very common, just to everyday people. That's a very, very basic tax code. But again, all of this stuff is in video format. If you can pull off video and give them information, these are all series of videos. Tours, how you tour property, how you know about the construction of a property. How do you know, like I mentioned with the other real estate agent, how do you know how to turn a house into a home? Can you do that? Can you make shows out of it, right? Can we have a series of, 1930 homes, right? And these are the homes in this neighborhood. Tour these homes in this neighborhood. Especially if you're local and you're jockeying for zip code kind of properties, that's a great idea for you guys. Again, have it on the right platform. Look at vertical like a trailer of a movie, and then look at this as the main movie. Because again, this is great for views and getting attention on the vertical side. This is built for conversion, and it's like a movie. It's like the main attraction. These are built for conversion, okay? So this will get you business. This will get you attention. Number 3, customer testimonials. Again, if you start doing good stuff for these guys, customer testimonials are a must. Do not sell your own product all the time. Have other people do it. Number 4, doing some drive-bys. Again, we talked about tying that back to the market. Again, this all goes back for information. Structured deal structure ties back to kind of financial and then what you know, right, about finances in the market. So again, if you are trying to get to 1%, this is how I would leverage a lot of video if you are a real estate agent looking to get that top 1%. If you need help with this, we do this all day long. This is what we do. We know the niche very well. Please call us, get a free content audit. You can fill out the form below. We'll audit all the content that you have, or we can just schedule a demo and we can walk you through the product and the process and show you how we can turn you into a top 1% performer.